what we're gonna do right now is a little segment where we like to pick our brains with a question, and it'll make you think. From our own ID. So it's similarly called ID the question.
All right, so check it out. As a recording artist, I've been doing music since I was maybe roughly 17 or so. I'm 36 today. And I have a really serious question in regards to the way we always talk about music shifting and history repeating itself and things of this nature. So formally spoken, here's the question. ID the question. What would you say today's music recording artist fad is while they're in the booth? What would you say an artist would tell their engineer to do, or what sound they're trying to create that would be considered a fad? Now, I'm gonna give you an example. T-Pain, autotune, which did morph into different formats of itself. So I'll take it there already before you do. But that's just an example. So what would you say a fad is of today's music industry?
Probably wearing sunglasses indoors.
But he beat me to it.
I'm 33 years old, so that's just what I think.
Yo, Patron, you're really sticking to who you really truly are in the second half of this. Show.
I think the Travis Scott vocals.
Okay.
It really is, like you were saying, like an elevated type of auto tune. But yeah, that kind of like I don't know that like.
I'm gonna go with I have my answer. I'm gonna say mine for last. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would definitely say like the Travis Scott type vocal effects, like heavy like distortion on the vocals. Definitely a trend fad right now in the industry, at least for hip hop.
What about you, Tony, man? All these artists that you've been working with, what are some of the things that you recognize that these artists be doing in the booth?
Well, see, I'm serious old school, man. All that auto tune and stuff. I sing the thing until I get it right.
I feel it.
But till I get it right. If you do it, you don't get it right, do it again. You do it again.
Yeah.
The auto tune thing, you can hear that.
Yeah.
You can hear that, and it's like,
right.
And what it does, because you can listen to a lot of old records, and man, what it does, it takes the freshness out of the moment of what you're doing. For instance, it takes some of these old records like Aretha Franklin, all of them singing it. They would hit some of these notes, and it would be slightly out of tune or whatever. But the producer listened back to it and go, "We're not touching that," because it added some type of flavor to that track or something that she's not going to be able to reproduce. And it's just, you either sing it till you get it right, or you do something that adds a flavor to that track that, it just can't be, you can't replace it. But the auto-tune thing, it makes you sound too mechanical and robotic,
No, I feel like it should only be used to enhance.
Yeah, I feel like it's being overused. It's being overused in today's industry by far.
And I'm not mad at everything being slightly auto-tuned as long as there is an effort and talent and skill that you're using to complete that. But I'm also, like I like Frank Ocean when he auto-tunes. Like I feel like he would need it. I don't want to say needed, but that's how I like it,
But that Frank is also just such a raw, talented vocalist that when he adds those effects on his voice, because like we throw around the word auto-tune like that's the only effect people are using. Auto-tune is literally just like to make sure that you're hitting your note correctly.
Right. It's a feature.
Most people are talking about the synth on their voice, like whatever type of synthesizer or vocal effect they have. Like, yeah, it's using the vocal. I feel like that's what most people are talking about when they say auto.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, like, I'm not mad at like an artist that uses it predominantly throughout their career. It's just, it's a tool. And if you if it sounds better, then use it.
Hold on. Back up. So, you're going with auto-tune?
It's the fad in the booth.
Yeah.
KJ
says shouting "yeah" after every bar.
That's that always works though, KJ. That works every time. Yeah.
That's kind of that was kind of like something that I was sort of thinking about, really, right? So I have a slightly. Did I cut you off there, brother?
No, you're good. I'm trying to just get some. We got time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So I would say that one thing, at least for me, right? One thing that I think about a fad is an excessive and a keyword excessive amount of ad libs in a track.
Yeah,
right? That to me is what I think. If there was you talking about a fad, now I think that everything can be used. And I'm gonna use this word that you were used earlier, Patron, about enhance, right? Is that ad libs can help fill a space in an intentional manner. Right, if you can do that intentionally, then I would say that's that's a thing. But like overly using ad libs, I think has become a fad. Now, I want to touch I want to touch real quick on the auto-tune piece, right? Now, Tony and Caleb here are talking about you talk about a synth, right? But really, what I hear when I hear that what people will call the annoying amount of auto-tune, it really means that they have the wrong setting of retune speed on their auto-tune effect. Auto-tune is a plugin. There are two main pieces that have that come in that plugin. You have retune speed and humanization when you're using, especially Antares, as a plugin. If you turn your retune speed down and your humanization up, then you will not have that robotic sound that we keep talking about. That robotic sound comes from the retune speed, which is the actual speed in which the note is being corrected. Right. So that's where you hear that adjustment come from. If you turn your retune speed down and turn your humanization up, then you will get back to your natural tone. Now, this other part comes into where we talked about quote unquote talent, right? Being able to hit your note appropriately. If you are dependent upon this plugin to get you into the right note, that is where it becomes a problem, in my opinion. If you already know how to hit notes and you can consistently do that and you need a slight pitch correction, then auto-tune can be used in a very creative manner. Right. Now, and that being said, there are also plugins. There are other plugins or tools, right, that you can use in various different DAWs that do the same pitch correction type mentality. You can still correct your pitch without adding the robotic auto-tune speed onto that. But the excessiveness is what we're talking about. And I'm going to add that to the auto-tune as well, having the excessive use. But there is the caveat of people like T-Pain and Young Thug and some others who have that as a natural sound. So I feel like when it's used intentionally, then it can be used as a, as a branding tool. And whether you like it or not, right, whatever opinion you have on it, it's the intentionality where we're talking about the conversation of a fad, not necessarily talking about what's quote unquote good music. We're talking about fads. So if it's used as a fad, that means it's being excessively used and not used creatively, in my opinion.
I agree with all of that.
I hear you.